Hey, welcome back to the videos. This is part 4 in the Understanding Minor Key series. And what we've been doing is looking at playing in minor keys from a background perspective, looking at chords, trying to understand where we get chords for minor keys. And what we've discovered is there's really, on a basic level, no difference between playing a major key or minor key. They both have common chord progressions, and there's logic to the chords. You actually use the scale notes themselves to build chords to play rhythm. And so in the first video we looked at just the normal version of a scale, which is called the natural minor. And we looked at the song Jerusalem's Ridge as an example tune, and we built chords using the A minor natural scale. And we found out that every chord that we built was used in the song except for E. E represented E minor when we built chords with the normal scale, but we were playing E major, and we couldn't determine exactly why we're playing E and not E minor. Well, what we had to do is go into the first variation of a minor scale, which is the harmonic minor scale, and we found out that the 7th note of the scale gets changed sharp to half step. In this video, I want to look at the melodic minor scale. And again, this is just a variation of the normal scale that you've learned. So for review, let's look at A minor again. The A minor natural scale is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. That's just a normal scale, and we can build chords from that. Every chord that we built could, kind of was in sync with the chords we used for Jerusalem's Ridge except for that E. Okay, in the next video we looked at the harmonic minor version of this, A harmonic minor, and we found out that new scale variation was A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp, and A. And when we changed that G to a G sharp and built chords with all those scale notes, we arrived at slightly different chords. Okay, in this video I want to look at the third variation of a minor scale, which is the melodic minor scale. The only difference between this and the harmonic minor version of a scale is the 6th and the 7th note get changed. So the new version of our scale, A melodic minor, is going to be A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. So now we have 2 notes that are changed from the normal A minor scale. And that gives us 3 distinct versions of the A minor scale, and we can build chords from all 3 versions. So since we've done that in the previous 2 videos for the other 2 versions of the scale, let's build our chords for this video using the A melodic minor scale. Now, for review, the A harmonic minor scale had A minor, it had B diminished, it had C augmented, it had D minor, it had E major, which is what we're using in Jerusalem's Ridge. So maybe that's where the E is coming from, maybe from this version of the scale. Then we had F major, then we had G sharp diminished, and then we had A minor. So the only chord that really matched exactly was the E. So we determined, maybe, we're just assuming, that the E chord that we're using in Jerusalem's Ridge actually was borrowed from the harmonic minor chords that we built, and it replaced the E minor from the normal scale. Now let's look at the A melodic minor chord pattern. Again, we've changed 2 notes in the scale, which gives us slightly different chords because we're using triads to put these scale notes together. In this new chord pattern, still working in A minor now, but just the melodic minor version of the scale, we have A minor, but now instead of B diminished, because we've changed the F to F sharp and the G to G sharp, we have B minor instead of B diminished. C is still C augmented, right? But now the D minor chord gets changed to D because of that F sharp note. D, E, F sharp makes D major. So there's a new chord variation. Okay, the 5 chord is E, A. If we build scale notes make chords in the melodic minor version of this, we also arrive at an E, which is the same as the 5 chord from the harmonic minor version. So maybe, who knows, maybe this was taken from this version of the scale. They're both E's. Both other versions of the scale have E major in it. Maybe it came from this version. Okay, what about the F major from the harmonic scale now becomes F sharp diminished. We changed the F to F sharp. The G sharp represents G sharp diminished, so that didn't change. And then A minor. So here's our new chord set, building chords from A melodic minor. A minor, B minor, C augmented, D major, E major, F sharp diminished, G sharp diminished, and then A minor. Now the thing that some people mention, you might hear this discussed sometime, is that chords made from a melodic minor scale don't sound like they belong quite as well with melodies as, say, the natural minor and the harmonic minor. Because again, we did change 2 scale notes, which gave us 3 different chords. You know, we had A minor, we had B minor instead of B diminished, we had D major instead of D minor, we had F sharp diminished instead of F major. So we had 3 different chords that we built that were different than the other scale versions. So all of this together means that you've got 3 distinct versions of a minor scale to play around with solo-wise, which we haven't done yet. But we also can build 3 slightly different chord patterns as far as the types of chords we're using. And you can, here's the cool thing, you can substitute any chord from any of the 3 patterns. So sometimes when you're playing a minor key song, especially in pop music and other genres of music besides what we do, bluegrass and old time, when you play other genres of music, you'll find that people who compose songs in minor keys don't stick to just the normal minor scale to derive their chords. They'll actually take chords from the other 2 versions of the scale and drag them in and mix them together. So you have a broader palette of chords to choose from. Now if we're talking about traditional music like bluegrass and old time, the first place you should look is the normal minor scale. Build your chords from that, and then look for any inconsistencies. Look for chords that don't make sense. And the next 2 places you should look logically should be the harmonic minor chord set and the melodic minor chord set. Use those other 2 versions of the scale to build your chords and drop them in and see if you can determine that. So we're going to assume again, and really it's not an assumption, we've really pretty much figured it out, that the E chord that we're using in Jerusalem's Ridge, the reason it's not E minor is because we're probably and most likely borrowing the E major chord from either the harmonic minor or the melodic minor scale. I'm going to guess that it came from the harmonic minor, but what does it matter, because they're both E majors. They're both the right chord, and that's all that matters. So, but for building songs in general, this version of the scale, the harmonic minor version of the scale, makes nicer sounding chords in general. This version that we're talking about in this video, the melodic minor scales, when we build chords from those, they don't sound quite as nice, generally speaking, against melodies that we play in traditional music. If you play jazz and rock and pop music, you know, they would sound like they belong, because people who compose songs in those genres of music probably use those chords more than we would. But you need to know all 3, because again, we can take chords from all 3 versions of this scale and mix them in. But for Jerusalem's Ridge, the only oddball chord was the E major. And now we've determined that maybe, or not maybe, probably, that the E major came from either one of those other 2 versions of the scale. So that's going to wrap up.